But then, believe me, I had the pleasure of witnessing something by hand, or secondhand, shall we say. Went to my coffee break, washing out my coffee cup, make me pot of fresh coffee before I take my little break or whatever. But I had the pleasure of witnessing something that I thought was not impossible, but rare. And I mean very rare. But the intelligence behind it shows me that there's hope for all of us, but especially black women and how they educate their children. That was positive. I really enjoyed seeing it, but the hearing it, because it was only her and I in the room. And while I was making my coffee, I had the pleasure of hearing her conversate with the son. Now she might be, I don't want to say elderly, but I'm elderly. I'm 55, so I guess she may be like around about 40, probably a little bit younger than that. But the conversation with her young son gives me hope for all black mothers. I didn't have to say anything. She barely knew who I am because she's new here. You know, at my job, she's new. But the way she was instructing her son about telling the truth made it sound so positive that within 1 minute of hearing the conversation, I said that's what I'm talking about. That's what I said to myself with a big smile and you know, that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't the action or whatever he did. It was just the steps before, during, and after. And it was wonderful to hear the conversation, but she kind of instructed him, said, well, look, this is what you do. You know better. What did I tell you? What you should have done. It was just she asked 1,000 questions. I was smiling on each one of them because what she was doing to me seemed like, look, you know better, but at the same time, these are the things that you need to do. You need to speak up for yourself. If you think you're doing something wrong, think about it. If you think you're doing something wrong, think about it. Pause. But this is the way I would have done it. You know better. Do not do anything like that without consulting me. And because he had broke something, the next step he took was not necessarily bad. It was just the fact that he was waiting to tell her. And she said, you know, you don't have to wait to do anything. I'm your mother. I understand we make mistakes, but this is what you should do. That's how she handled it. And it was like, it wasn't a condemning questionnaire, how you might put it, but it was a mother asking her son questions that he should know the answer to, but at the same time, she was instructing him, look, okay, I want to hear what happened, and what did you do? It was more like a challenge. It was like, okay, well, while she was asking questions, it was like she was waiting and pausing for an answer. It's like if he said something wrong or whatever, because the conversation went on for a minute, and it was like she was like, "Look, you know what to do. You know what to do. What the next thing did you do when you did that?" You see what I'm saying? It was like a questionnaire, but it was like he had to think on his feet. No answer that he gave was wrong. He realized he made a mistake, but the attempt to hide it or wait for it was the wrong move, and she exposed him for that. But it wasn't like a supposed like making him feel bad. It was like getting him to think on his feet. And a lot of young black men do not think things through. That's what to me, that's what the lesson was. And it was so positive. But you put a spin on it, like most parents, they just cut down on you, cut you out, you know, and say and yell and scream at the kids instead of challenging them to think things through. So when something bad happens or what you perceive to be bad, then there's a way to correct it. So it all won't be so bad for you. And the way she corrected it was all positive, but it was challenging the young man to think. And I was hearing him, but I couldn't hear every word he said. I couldn't hear all of his responses. But I could tell that she was challenging her son to think things through. Think things through. If you're going to do something, you better think it all the way through, because you know what the response is going to be. And that it was put in such a positive. I wish I could have recorded, but I didn't want to intervene on privacy between the mother and son. But it was so positive. It's like you could hear the young man speaking, but he didn't try to interrupt her. He waited to the last second to make sure that she was through. And that's a lot of conversations go wrong. When the kids so jumping, they think they got all the answers. They don't think things through. They don't think things through. And that's where the mistakes come in. They figure they know. Instead of going through a challenge like this young man had this. And she said, well, I'll tell you if you want. You tell me what you did. You see what I'm saying? So he had to explain it. It wasn't like she wasn't giving him no answers and no leniency. It's like, okay, well, if this happened, what do you think you should do? Hey, you know what? Tell me what you did. And I'll tell you what you did wrong. You see what I'm saying? It's a challenge to think things through. Not to just go do whatever you want and then try to hide or suffer the consequences later. That young man was responding, but he was responding in a respectful manner, too. And you could hear the yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I love it. I love it. Today was a good example of a black mother challenging her son to think instead of just doing and then suffering consequences later. And I guarantee you, with a mother like that, he has a great future. Because guess what? Every challenge that comes his way, I guarantee you, we all make mistakes. But that young man would be well off because he thinks things through. The beginning, the middle, and the end. And at the same time, she was teaching him what? To be responsible. I love it. I love it. Coming from a black mother and challenging young boys to think instead of just going out in the world, do whatever you want to do, and then suffer the consequences. That's not thinking things through. So if you got a plan of action, take the lesson from this mother. Because I don't know all of your man's response. All I kept hearing was yes, ma'am. Challenge your kids to think. Before they just go out and do something, tell them what you think, but also let them explain why it is necessary or why you must do this. Hear from them first, and then you react or respond as a parent. And that includes discipline. And I don't have to tell y'all what that means. Be a good parent, but take this as an example. Challenge your kids to think things through. That includes every area of life. And all the things that they will suffer or go through.
You're locked in with DJ Rod.
What a great
DJ Rod.
Flowers bloom in morning dew, and the beauty seems to say, it's a pleasure when you treasure all that's new and true and gay. Easy living and we're giving what we know we're dreaming of. We are one having fun walking in the glow of love. Faces going places, it's a wonder, it's so clear. By a fountain, climbing mountains as we hold each other near. Sipping wine, we try to find